Just wanted to do a small live today to talk about, this is kind of for my performers, people who sing on stage, to talk about the times that we feel small on stage. So I just had a great session with a client who I do a lot of coaching and mindset work with, and I came across them playing at a outdoor public kind of gig a couple of weeks ago. Didn't know that they were going to be there, and I didn't let them know that I was there because that tends to freak people out sometimes. So I was just chilling, listening. They sounded great. I sent them a message later after they were done, after I'd left, saying nice work. And we were talking today, and they said that someone came up to them at this show and asked them if they could turn up at all, if they could be any louder. Which for this performer was received as, it didn't feel good to receive. It felt like they were doing something wrong somehow, that they should have been singing louder. They were running both their vocals and guitar through a little cube amp, which is not an ideal technological situation. So sometimes you just have to be kind to yourself about you have technical limitations, and that's just the situation. You just make the best of it. But also, my sense when I was there at the show, listening to them perform, and I checked in with them and this matched their experience, was that a recognition of an experience that I've had many times of somehow, it can come from a different place for different people, but for me it's a feeling of not being welcome. When you're at a show when you're playing a performance where people are not listening, if you're just the background music or people are talking over you or whatever, they said that they got the sense of nobody's listening, so I'm just gonna get through this performance. So both of us have felt this closing down, making yourself smaller, becoming closed kind of thing. So usually the enunciation goes, the volume goes, you're just playing for yourself. Sometimes people talk about gigs where your background music is being paid to practice, which is fine if you want to think of it that way and that feels fine for you, but there is a feeling that doesn't feel so good when you are closing and making yourself small while you're performing. And it's not going to make you play your best, and then you're not going to feel good about it afterwards. And for me, I have, for my material that I usually perform, it's usually original material, and it's usually very emotionally vulnerable. My songs are really personal and very emotionally expressive. And they don't work as background music. I'm not a background performer. I can't be your dinner accompaniment. I need people to shut up and listen to me, or I don't feel respected, and I don't feel welcome, and then I play like shit. So, and that's just me. I have performer friends who don't mind being background music, and that's totally, totally fine. But figure out what works for you, and you can make the choice to play the kinds of performances that feel good to you, that resonate with you and authentically how you want to present yourself as a performer. I don't play gigs by myself, and I don't play gigs where I'm background music and people are just going to be talking. And if people are talking over my music, I'm going to ask them to be quiet or leave. Which is fine for me because performing is not my income, and it's not my highest priority to just play all of the gigs that I possibly can. But if you are okay with playing background music gigs, but you never know who's listening, right? My client didn't know that I was there at this show, and I was listening. You never know who's listening. You never know what opportunity could come from it, and you never know who needs your gift of music that you have been given, that you have the opportunity to give others. You never know who is there having a really terrible day, and the song that you're playing could just touch their heart and help them feel less alone in the world. If you are really genuinely engaging with the music that you're playing, giving it your 100%, and performing in a way that feels good and feels like it connects with, you're connecting with yourself, you're connecting with the music itself, and potentially connecting with someone in the audience, even if you don't know it. So we talked a little bit about like gig rituals, pre-gig rituals, post-gig rituals, how to shift your experience of performing, because it will also shift the experience of the way people experience your performance. So if you, like me and my client, have had the experience of playing shows where you maybe you don't feel so good about yourself, like you're having low self-confidence in terms of as a performer, or you are playing the kinds of shows where you sometimes don't feel welcome, like nobody's listening to me, I'm just the background music, and you notice that, or like whatever the trigger might be, if you have the experience of like feeling yourself physically and emotionally and mentally closing while you're performing, and then you feel that like it doesn't feel good. So a couple of things that you could do pre-gig, embodying opening. So that could just be like doing some yoga stretches and things that like open up your rib cage and your body and your shoulders, taking some nice deep breaths, anything that makes you feel open and setting yourself up physically. Embodiment is really powerful. You set yourself up physically in a way that feels open. You know, then even if you do like feel a bit shit during the set and like close a little bit, if you're starting really open and then you close a little bit, you're going to be less closed than if you you're going to be less closed than if you started like neutral or feeling kind of closed and then you closed further. So physical things that open up your body, as well as like mental things, whether you're like, if you're the kind of person who's into meditations, like open heart meditations. I have a real thing about like opening my heart and like offering my heart to other people. Just the visualization of that helps me feel a lot better. So just a quick live to talk about the experience of closing during a set. Some of the things that can cause that, it could be totally different depending on like what your particular neuroses are or your experience in life or what is and isn't working for you as a musician, and ways to navigate that by setting up in a more open way or adjusting the kinds of situations that you put yourself in so that you're in situations where you feel comfortable and that you can open. So if you are like me, then maybe you don't play just like acoustic covers, you play really heartfelt original material, and it just doesn't work for you to be background music in a cafe or a bar. And you make that choice for yourself, because it's important that music doesn't become a chore and like something that you end up hating. You want it to be something that nourishes you so that you can give this gift that you've got to the world in a way that matters, in a way that nourishes other people. Because otherwise, what the hell are we doing it for? All right. I hope that you're all doing well. It was a little bit rambly, but I just wanted to give like a little, because I was feeling good about the session that we just did. So I wanted to share a little bit of it with the public. All right. Catch you all soon. Bye.